For years, the headlines about technology have focused on AI, apps, and automation. But beneath the noise, far from the buzz of product launches and software updates, a quieter, more consequential race is unfolding. It's not about who can build the smartest chatbot or the fastest phone. It's about who controls the two lifelines of the digital age: energy and chips. Welcome to the hidden tech war, the one that's shaping not just the future of computing, but the balance of global power itself. Let's start with the basics. Every major technological breakthrough, AI, cloud computing, autonomous systems, even national defense, runs on two things: semiconductors and electricity. Without chips, there's no computation. Without power, there's no system. And right now, both are under pressure. Across the United States, energy demand from data centers and AI factories is skyrocketing, while the global chip supply chain is being redrawn in real time. This isn't just about technology, it's about sovereignty. Because the countries and companies that control chips and energy will control the pace of innovation for decades to come. Let's take the first front: chips. For the past 30 years, the world outsourced chip production. Design happened in California, manufacturing happened in Taiwan, South Korea, and increasingly, China. That division worked until it didn't. When the pandemic hit and supply chains froze, entire industries ground to a halt. Car factories shut down, defense contractors delayed projects. Even iPhones were back-ordered for months. That shock woke Washington up. It revealed that America's most advanced technologies, from fighter jets to AI chips, depended on a handful of factories halfway across the world. And those factories sit in geopolitically fragile territory. That's why the US government launched an industrial mobilization unlike anything since the Cold War, the CHIPS and Science Act. Over $50 billion in subsidies are now flowing into new semiconductor manufacturing projects across the country. Intel is building massive new fabs in Ohio and Arizona. TSMC is expanding in Phoenix. Samsung is investing in Texas. And smaller startups are racing to develop specialized AI-first chips that can train and run large models more efficiently. This is the new arms race, not in missiles or nukes, but in transistors per second. The ability to produce cutting-edge chips isn't just an economic advantage anymore. It's a national security imperative. AI, quantum computing, and defense systems all depend on it. But here's where it gets even more interesting and more complicated. Because even as the US races to reclaim chip manufacturing, another bottleneck is forming: energy. Every new chip fab and AI data center consumes staggering amounts of electricity. TSMC's new Arizona plant alone will require enough power to run 300,000 homes. Microsoft's planned AI complexes are drawing gigawatts of load from regional grids, and the US electric infrastructure, already strained and aging, is struggling to keep up. So the chip war and the energy war are becoming the same war. As AI computing explodes, demand for energy is doubling, forcing companies to rethink how they source, store, and generate power. And this is where big tech and big energy are starting to merge. Google is building geothermal power plants. Amazon is investing in wind and solar farms. Microsoft has signed contracts for nuclear-generated electricity to power its AI systems. They're not doing this for environmental PR, they're doing it for self-preservation. If AI is the engine of growth, then energy is the fuel, and no one wants to run out. That's why we're seeing something unprecedented: the rise of private power grids built and owned by tech companies. The same firms that once competed for ad clicks are now competing for megawatts. And it's not just about electricity, it's about control. Because whoever controls the flow of power and compute controls the flow of data, money, and influence. Meanwhile, on the global stage, the same story is playing out, only louder. China is accelerating its domestic chip production, pouring hundreds of billions into semiconductor self-sufficiency. It's also investing heavily in nuclear and renewable energy to power those fabs and AI systems. Europe is scrambling to secure both, launching its own European Chips Act and funding massive green power projects to attract manufacturing back home. The world isn't just competing for innovation, it's competing for capacity. The capacity to make, power, and sustain the technology that runs everything else, and that's creating new alliances and new fault lines. Countries with strong chip ecosystems are aligning with those that have cheap and reliable power. The US is forming partnerships with Canada for hydropower, with Australia for rare minerals, and with allies like Japan and South Korea for semiconductor collaboration. This isn't globalization as we knew it, it's tech geopolitics. The modern version of the oil wars isn't about crude, it's about compute. But here's what makes this moment so complex. Even as the US tries to bring chip making and energy production back home, it's discovering that these two goals can collide. Chip fabs need massive, uninterrupted electricity. AI data centers need stable, low-cost power. Renewable energy is clean, but it's intermittent. So now the question isn't just how much energy the US can produce, but what kind, and how to distribute it in a way that keeps AI growth sustainable. That's pushing innovation into areas like grid storage, modular nuclear reactors, and energy-efficient chips. In short, the next leap in computing might not come from code. It might come from engineering the power supply behind it. There's a reason CEOs are suddenly talking about kilowatts and grid access as much as algorithms and AI ethics. They know that the next trillion-dollar frontier isn't just intelligence, it's infrastructure. AI doesn't exist in the cloud. It exists in real buildings, real chips, and real energy flows. And as those systems grow, the lines between tech company and utility company, between software and hardware, between energy and computation, are disappearing. The companies that once ruled the digital world by moving fast and breaking things are now learning to move carefully and build power. Because in the 2020s, innovation isn't just about who can compute the fastest, it's about who can keep the lights on while doing it. So when people talk about AI as the next industrial revolution, they're only half right. What's really happening is a twin revolution, one in silicon, one in energy, and together they're rewriting the blueprint of the modern economy. This is the hidden tech war, the one that decides not just who leads in AI, but who powers it. And make no mistake, it won't be one in app stores or app labs. It'll be one in the places no one sees, inside chip fabs, data centers, and the new power plants of the digital